It is Thursday, August 11th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who sleeps harder than a Washington Nationals 2-game winning streak, J.P. Shadrick.
I'll take that. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday, and we've got a busy show ahead. Training camp rolling along. Preseason week 1 officially is here. Tomorrow night, the Jaguars entertain the Cleveland Browns, and we'll get to the Jags playing time. We'll hear from Doug Pederson coming up, Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, and then the Doug Pederson Show at 5 o'clock today. No coach on the show today. We'll hear a bunch from Doug throughout the week, though. Plenty to get to heading into preseason week number 1. The Jags starters will go this week, according to head coach Doug Pederson earlier this week.
Yeah, this week I'm going to let the starters play. Get their feet wet a little bit in this football game, a couple series. Nothing too crazy, nothing too long, but just want to get them the feel of the game and get them in there and get them working, in game situations.
How important is that for Trevor as far as his development in the offense to get those game reps?
Well, for him it's important, but also for the offense, right? I mean, it's a new scheme, got new faces, new people out there that he's working with, and new center. So just seeing all of it put together, and just want to have some crisp plays, some good execution, and try to score a few points and get them out.
Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, he was on the sideline at the Hall of Fame game, had the earbud in to hear the play calls. He'll get the start this week, as you heard Doug Pederson say, and number 16 is ready for action.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We get great work in during the week. That's why we practice, and especially the way our defense is, just do a lot of different things. I think it's great as a quarterback getting to go against that every day. Makes you think, makes you really communicate with each other on offense. So that's been great for us all camp. And then, yeah, of course, you want to play, but you also realize what the coaches are doing, and it's a long season. Like being a part of it last year, 17 games plus hopefully playoffs, all that. It's a long season, so it's a marathon, and don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves. But whenever what time is, I'll be ready to roll and get out there, and whatever that is, this week, next week, however much I play, don't know yet. Just being as efficient as possible when it is out there, live reps. Doesn't change anything except for that I can get hit, but still you play the same way. And then we'll be ready to roll.
That's Trevor Lawrence Monday, and the day before that, on Sunday, the team cranked up the heat with live tackling periods. Travis Etienne Jr. was ready to finally get some contact.
I need that.
Needed to get hit?
Yeah, I need that. Like you said, I haven't played in so long. Like, I want to get tackled. I need to get tackled just to get my body back acclimated with that. I just been at home working out, chilling on the couch, stuff like that. So to come out here to get like bumps and bruises, I miss that. I miss that contact. It may sound crazy, but I miss kind of being in those car crashes.
Well, there you have it. Travis Etienne Jr. will get the defensive side of that coming up a little bit later from Andre Cisco. We welcome in Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. Now, good afternoon to you, Jeffrey.
Good afternoon, JP. I can't believe that he took some of the shots that he did in practice on Sunday.
So we were, of course, coming back from Ohio, didn't get to see it in person, but you've seen it on tape.
Right? Watching the film, and I'm like, man, you gotta defend yourself. It was almost as if Travis just didn't see the defenders at all and was just getting whacked. It's like, wait a minute, hey, look, prepare for it, He got one hit by
Cisco was the first one.
Cisco was one, and who was the other one? That one the second one might have been worse.
Press Taylor.
I think it was Rayshawn Jenkins got him.
Press Taylor described it, the offensive coordinator, when he spoke this week, as kind of like the tackles you see in football movies.
Yes.
Like where the guys are flying head over heels.
What he's talking about is that in the movies, the guy gets hit and he doesn't see it coming at all. Right. And that was kind of what the plays looked like a little bit with Travis. And to be perfectly honest with you, if I'm a defender and I'm approaching him in that fashion, I'm going, does he know that this is live? Kind of unprepared. But anyway, man, look, if he wants to take the hit to get ready because he hasn't played football in a long period of time, more power to him. But I'm not going to do that. If I was running back, I'd step out of bounds, where you've got the gain, okay. because you got to be smart. It's about getting ready for a 17-game season now, and you have to be able to minimize the contact that you take. Look, I understand you haven't played football in a while, but trust me, you got plenty of it in front of you.
That's right. And Doug Pederson described that this week. There's only a couple of days in training camp where he'll have some live periods. One of those was Sunday. There's another one coming at some point next week before the Steelers preseason game, just because you only have a limited amount of time in pads and only 4 games, 3 games with the starters out there. So throw it in a couple times, couple periods in those 2 practices. Really, that's about it. And that's his philosophy.
Let me say this, too. A live practice period it's not the same as live in a game.
You're not cutting. You're not going to the knees.
Yeah, you're not tackling low.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you understand in your mind and in your heart that these are my teammates, and I'm going to protect them. Okay, I understand the drill is live, but I'm not going to do anything that would put myself at risk, and I'm not going to do anything that would put my teammate at risk. And so there are a lot of things in this live period that really aren't quite live, but it's as close to live as you're going to get in a practice, that's for sure.
All right, playing time. Doug Pederson, you just heard from the Jaguars head coach. The starters will play, certainly on offense. Our first look at Trevor Lawrence in a game situation. Some of his weapons will be with him as well for the first time. And there's some battles on the offensive line. We'll get to that coming up. So for the quarterback, what do you think? Couple drives, get him in there, get him warmed up, move the ball a little bit, hopefully some points and get him out, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, come out and have one drive, and let's say you put together a 7-8 play drive, and it results in a touchdown, and you go, okay, that's enough. You're done. But if all of a sudden you have drive number 1 and it goes 5 plays and a punt, then you're like, okay, as a coach, one thing you'd like to have, and Doug mentioned this when he talked about it, was points. It's about scoring points. It's what you do on offense. And so if it takes a couple drives to get some points, then that's what it takes. If it takes 1 drive and 7 or 8, 9 plays, then okay, that's it. That's enough. You guys are done. So I think it all depends on performance. Defense is probably going to be about the same way. You want to have guys have success, and that's the most important thing. You want to have success and then go ahead and protect your guys, because more than likely the Cleveland Browns are going to be taking their guys out after a series or 2 as well. And so are you getting the quality of reps that you really want to get when all of a sudden the opponent's not playing their guys? You want to have even. When things are even, okay, let's get some real good reps. If your starters are in there and the Cleveland Browns are on their 3rd team, it's not the reps you're looking for.
And, guys on the 3rd team are, in theory, bubble players. They're trying to kind of make big plays and do things that might be out of the norm. Right. In that kind of situation, you can put your guys at risk.
Well, you just don't want to lose a starter.
That's right.
And in a preseason game, starter going against a 3rd-team guy. If you do, then all of a sudden you're going to look back on it and go, what were we thinking?
This will be the Jaguars' first look at some of their offensive weapons. Christian Kirk turned an ankle earlier this week. We'll see what happens with him. But Zay Jones should be a go. Evan Ingram, Marvin Jones Jr., who's been around here, of course, a year. And then Travis Etienne Jr., the running back, will get his first look since last preseason when he suffered the Liz Frank injury in New Orleans.
Yeah, and when's the last time he played a real meaningful game? You go back
Clemson.
To the bowl game at Clemson, right, that him and Trevor played in together as college teammates, and that's a long time. I mean, a long time. And I will say this with Travis, anytime you have a running back that's coming back from a foot injury, it's a major concern. Major concern, right? I mean, running back and feet. I mean, last time I checked, running backs need to have the feet.
It's kind of where it begins, I think,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
With a quarterback or an offensive lineman, they might be able to not be 100% and they can fight through it. But with a running back, speed, acceleration, change of direction, I mean, everything is based upon your feet. And it's been amazing watching him. He's coming back from this Liz Frank thing, which a lot of people may not know what that is. Just to simplify it, it's a midfoot sprain, and he had a surgical procedure that inserted a screw of some kind to stabilize the situation. and he has shown no ill effects. I mean, he has looked fantastic in practice. He's looked fast. He's looked elusive. He has a wide skill set to where he's not only not going to be just a runner, he's going to be a receiver. And when James Robinson gets out there, I'm excited about the possibilities of what they can do with both of them on the field at the same time. Press Taylor and the offensive coaches are going to have all kinds of fun scheming things up with the two of them.
Yes.
And a Jamal Agnew.
Right. Absolutely. Who can do a bunch of different things. And then Laviska Shenault could be in that mix in the backfield. Who knows, like moving ahead. This is 1010XL 92.5 FM and Jaguars.com. Jaguars social media as well today. Jaguars Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We're on Twitter also, at J.P. Shadrick, at Logs56. And the Browns-Jags game this Friday, tomorrow, brought to you by Coke, Florida. Now the offensive line battles. There's a couple raging there. We haven't really seen the full raging left guard battle yet. Tyler Shatley's been getting most of the first-team reps in practice. Ben Bartch certainly is still in the mix there, but the one I think a lot of people have been focused on is right tackle. Walker Little getting most of those reps up until this week. Jawan Taylor coming off that hamstring issue that put him down for a week or so. Both are expected to play with the first team this week. Where does this stand right now at right tackle?
I think it's dead even. I think Walker Little, because he had a very good start in the Hall of Fame game, and because he's been practicing, I would say that he is ahead. But because Jawan Taylor has the previous starting experience, I would say that keeps things equal. So now is the time where you're going to find out, who's the best. And I don't know exactly how they're going to split up the rotation. Will they go every other series? Will they go, okay, one plays the first couple drives and then the other one goes in the next? But here, if they alternate every series, which I think that's been talked about by Doug, there's a lot of offensive linemen and a lot of players that would tell you they don't like it that way. And the reason why is you never feel like you get into a groove. You get a couple plays and then you're standing watching for a series, you get cold. Okay, then you're back in there, and again, some guys would rather have it split up. Okay, one guy take the first quarter, the other guy take the second quarter, then the next week you just flip-flop it. But it's hard to get a fair evaluation that way because who you're playing in the first quarter might be way different than who you're playing in the second quarter, especially in the preseason game.
Especially against the Browns.
Exactly. So I get the every other series if, in fact, they do that. But, again, just to make a note that the players don't like that much. But it is a real battle. And I think there's a real battle that's a little bit subtler or more subtle at left guard.
Yeah.
And the reason I say it's a little bit more subtle because you're not seeing Ben Bartch and Tyler Shatley rotate, and it's not being talked about that much. But Tyler Shatley is like the ultimate swing guy on game day. He can back up your center position. He can back up your guard positions. And Ben Bartch has got some playing experience, albeit on the right side because Norwell was a fixture at left guard. Can Bartch make that transition to the left side? Can he get his feet to move faster or to play faster on game day? A lot of times his feet kind of get a little bit slow, and then that's where he gets kind of beat around the edge or whatever. And I don't think it's a more of a feet issue as it might be, hey, look, it's maybe an awareness issue, whatever. But he's got to get better if he's going to expect to beat out Shatley because they love having the veteran presence on each side of Fortner. And to where you're not worried about, well, look, we got two guys on each side of our rookie center. They're both accomplished. They can help him with the calls, and they can help him in performance. If you have another guy that's out there that's a little bit inexperienced and may end up not being perfect in some situations, you're like, well, wait a minute. Because the ultimate decision is, JP, it's not about who's the best left guard. We're talking about just that position, and you can probably put the right tackle position in the same conversation. Mm-hmm. It's about which guy is going to make the offensive line better. So does Tyler Shatley, more experienced, less apt to have his feet kind of be a little slowed, or does the more physical power of a Ben Bartch make the offensive line better?
Right.
So because you got to factor in these guys play next to other people and their performance impacts the one next to them. So That's going to be an interesting equation because the better player may not necessarily win out at left guard, but the player that makes the offensive line as a group better.
And then that could be opening day, kickoff weekend, and then a few weeks down the road,
may change.
Circumstances could change.
It may change week 2.
That's right.
You know, just because, we thought our offensive line was going to be better as a whole by playing player X at left guard or player X at right tackle. You know, it didn't really work out that way, so we're going to go and switch it up.
The evaluation is never over in the NFL.
It is not.
That's
and when you have a new coaching staff, you're probably a little bit more likely to have that kind of a scenario to where, because you don't have a history with these guys.
Let's come back. We'll get into the defensive side, what they're looking at this week and what to expect from the defensive side of the football. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your Workforce Solutions Reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been a leader in direct mail for over a decade. Using the latest technology, Kessler can now reach your ideal audience even more effectively. Choose from between a couple of response channels, from direct mail to landing pages designed to engage and initiate responses with potential customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The station that the Jaguars listen to. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, honestly, usually the defense is ahead. It should be. It should be, right? I mean, offense, there's a lot more timing involved with the 5 offensive linemen and the running backs and making sure, pad levels on the same angle, that the offensive line is in, the quarterback's eyes, the timing, the details, the routes. There's just more timing things with the offense. So this time at camp, and really probably early in the season usually. Defenses may have a little advantage.
That's head coach Doug Pederson. Defense has the advantage. Early welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. And Jaguars Game Day Radio is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. Well, the defense last week in Canton, Ohio, Logs, didn't have 4 or 5 of the key starters in the depth chart, at least in the front 7 in that game. They gave up 159 rushing yards.
Let me make a note here. The Raiders didn't play their starters either.
I agree with that. I'm just making a statement. They gave up 150.
Well, don't give one side.
The running back played. Josh Jacobs was running like a deer all over the place.
Wasn't that crazy?
How about that?
That he actually played?
Then there was speculation, they're trying to trade him, so showcasing him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
either way, they're running all over this.
He's a frontline guy, top NFL running back that was playing in the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, right.
Well, what are you doing, Josh McDaniels?
Well, it wasn't just him running over the Jaguars. 159 rushing yards, some misfits. Who played well in that game on defense, and who needs to take a step, you think?
Well, first and foremost, Trayvon Walker played really well. You know, I mean, when you have all the attention on you to play as well as he did and played well right out of the gate, the very first play was the power rush that he had against the left tackle, which that guy is normally the starting right tackle. So, but he powered him back into the lap of the quarterback, comes off and hits the quarterback and in the chest and gets penalized for what they believe was a blow to the head and neck area, which it wasn't the case, but it looked that way. I could understand why the official thought that it was. And then he comes back later and he has a sack. He was excellent as far as chasing the ball down the line of scrimmage, disengaging, getting off of blocks, and being active. So I like his start. It was a really, really good start. I thought Tyson Campbell played pretty solid. Was glad to see that there was no injury. That a little concerned there for a little bit.
Yeah, and Doug Pederson actually talked about that this week too. That kind of, not that he had to prove anything to him, but it told him something about his personality that he didn't have to go back in the Hall of Fame game. But he wanted to go back and prove that he was ready to go back, so Doug put him back in the game, and he finished out his 2 drives.
Couldn't tell if it was a shoulder or an arm or whatever it was that they were trying to kind of, get. He was loosening up that left arm, shoulder quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And the other guy I thought that played pretty well was Andre Sisco. Had some really nice opportunities in the open field and was clutch. I mean, look, the name of the position that he plays, safety, is self-explanatory. You have to be able to make tackles in the open field because you're the safety valve. You're the one that prevents touchdowns. And the Raiders got a couple runs that got out, and Andre Sisco did an excellent job of bringing down good runners. And there's Josh Jacobs in the open field. I mean, that's a really good football player that he tackles in the open field. I think that's Josh Jacobs.
Yes, it is.
And Sisco has had an excellent camp. Excellent camp. And here's the thing. We haven't even seen much of what he does best.
He didn't play last year.
No, I'm talking about this year in camp.
All right.
What we've seen from my perspective, what he does best is when he's around the ball. This guy is a ball hawk. He's got excellent ball skills. Somehow somebody put him on the defensive side of the ball when he was young, when he probably should have been on the offensive side of the ball because he's got excellent hands. He's got great anticipation. You heard Trevor talking about it this week to where Trevor said that he takes educated guesses, I guess you could say, chances, but you don't take chances from that position. You take calculated risks. And some of the best in the business were Palomalu and Ed Reed. I mean, these guys sometimes weren't anywhere near where their responsibility was at.
But they knew, had a nose for where the ball was going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They weren't guessing. They were educated decisions, I think is a better way to put it. And I think I'm not trying to compare Sisco to those two guys.
I think I just heard that.
That would be awesome.
Breaking news. Jeff Lageman says after one quarter of the Hall of Fame game, That Cisco is
he's got a ways to go, but I like his skill set, and I'm excited about him. Look, here's the reality.
Yeah,
you put him and Tyson Campbell in the secondary for a long period of time. You're talking two really good football players. You'll take that in a minute.
Let's hear from Andre Cisco. It's always fun to hear him talk. He was at the podium earlier this week, and, of course, we talked earlier the offensive perspective of that live tackling period on Sunday. How about Andre Cisco's perspective of that Sunday practice?
So it was first play, and he was on the sideline tiptoeing. I know we made eye contact, so it wasn't cheap, but it's good work though. Getting that live work, I was glad that Coach said we on go. And me and Travis good, no beef. I really didn't think I hit him that hard. It was the reaction from like Ray Sean and everything. Like, yeah, I was like, I hit him like that. It was like, yeah, you hit him like that. So, and I saw it on film. It was decent. I didn't feel too bad though.
He also said that, hey, all he heard was Doug Pederson say, "We're live," and it was on.
Well, so I will say, I think Andre Cisco held back a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, even though it's live, you have
your teammate,
an understanding that we're your teammates exactly. So he could have really smoked them. But, he backed off a little bit. And by the way, I think earlier I said it was Rayshawn who got the other tackle. Thank you, Chris, for the reminder. It was Trey Herndon.
Ah, yes.
Who, and by the way, Trey Herndon's having a strong camp too. So good for him. And with an opportunity with Darius Williams out with injury, more opportunities for a Trey Herndon, and he looks like he's taken excellent advantage of it. He's got some limitations. Trey Herndon does. I know that in years past, you had Trey Herndons and you had Clay Brooks, and the defense was a little predictable sometimes because Trey would be the nickel when they went and played zone, and then they would insert Clay Brooks, hoping the opponent wouldn't recognize when they wanted to play man. And I was like, well, I think they could probably figure that out.
Yeah.
But I think Trey has taken some steps up, and he's been very good tackling. So he's making a case, and he's going to have to be a guy that's got to make a strong case on special teams because the starting roles are probably going to be filled up. So when you get past the starting guys, sometimes the decision on who to keep is not necessarily made on who's the next best starter, but who's the next best player that we can have that's going to contribute on special teams. And sometimes that's a little bit confusing for players because they're always so concerned about the positional battles that they're in. Sometimes they can lose sight of how important the special teams. And, I've said this before that Bill Belichick carves out very specific roles for guys on his roster. And when he knows that a guy's not going to be playing regular snaps on offense or defense, he's going to get the best player for the role that they're going to play, and that role is not as a starter, where some coaches and general managers are making the decisions to keep that person based on, is he our next best starter? Well, that's not always the best decision for the organization.
Let's come back, and we'll get into a couple of the defensive additions in this offseason and free agency that could make their Jags debut in the preseason tomorrow night. A linebacker and a defensive lineman. Logs, I think you might know who I'm talking about.
I might.
We'll see if you have the
a clue.
answer. I think I gave enough hints.
Yeah, you might need to help me just a little bit.
We'll help you on the other side of this timeout. We'll have the injury report as well. Check out the official Jaguars podcast network. It's free on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. Give us that 5-star rating and a comment as always. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Experience the freedom of summer with big savings on a new Ford Trucker SUV during the summer sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. Feel free to take your summer barbecue into the night in an F-150 truck. Soak in the sunshine in an Explorer SUV. Enjoy the freedom to go places you've never been with big savings on a Bronco Sport or Escape SUV. Come in and check out a new SUV or truck to keep you feeling the freedom of summer all year round. Your summer of freedom starts at the summer sales event, only at your local Ford dealer.
Thinking about your favorite whiskey or whiskey-based cocktail for this weekend's party or tailgate? Us too. While you're out shopping for supplies, Don't forget to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars whiskey available at most local Jacksonville liquor stores. Not leaving the couch this weekend? No problem. You can also order a bottle online at citrusdistillersonline.com. Every bottle is made locally here in Duval.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony, Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Hey, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Nickel, nickel. Hey, rip. Hey, rip. One thing I do like, though, every time I did, look at your you get to that How you get it back? That's how you get it back. That's how you get it back, boy.
Love y'all boys, man. Rise and grind.
That is Shaq Quarterman mic'd up in the Hall of Fame game in Canton last Thursday, and you can catch the full mic'd up piece on Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. I'm J.P. Shadrick. That's Jeff Lageman, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, along with us, our entire Jaguars radio and digital crew. Hey, you know, I teased, as they call it in the business before the break, 2 defensive additions in free agency that could make their Jaguars debut in the preseason tomorrow night.
Okay.
Do you have who they are?
Let's see. Foye Oluokun?
Yes.
Oluokun?
Yes.
Linebacker that the Jaguars were able to acquire from the Atlanta Falcons.
He led the league in tackles last year.
He's very active. And I think it's an upgrade from Miles Jack. Miles Jack really had a lot of bright moments, but the inconsistencies really with Miles was very frustrating. Sometimes he would have some mental breakdowns. And with Foye, that's the one thing that he is not known for. He's known for being consistent, productive, high motor. Looking forward to watching him play.
I mean, he went to Yale, for goodness sakes, so he's a smart guy.
Well,
I'll say that.
I don't think they have what do they used to call those guys used to get into school that weren't very smart? Prop. Like Prop 48 or Prop 38.
Right.
They don't do that at Yale.
No.
Yeah, no, he's a smart guy.
No, of course.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. And
you talked to him yet or heard him talk yet?
I have listened to him, and
he's great.
He's great. Yeah, he's great. He's everything you would expect. Natural leader.
Correct.
Very vocal on the football field.
I'm excited to see him. However long he plays, maybe a couple drives, but get him out there. Who else? Who's the other guy?
Could Fatukasi play maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. The big defensive lineman that they were able to acquire from the New York Jets. He was a little on the side kind of as training camp started. And I don't want to say he's slow to pick it up because, I mean, when you're not practicing, sometimes it's more difficult. Some people are hands-on. They got to be on the field to learn and practicing. And then he participated in practice over the weekend, the practices that we saw the first part of the week. So we could see him make his debut, and he's going to be an integral part of this defense. He is an immediate starter.
Oh, they paid him $30 million, so
yeah. And nowadays, JP, you can't look at the size of the money and go, well, he's an immediate starter. There's some guys
what are we doing?
There's some guys that are rotational players that are getting paid a ton of money.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, I mean, especially along the defensive line. But he's a legit starter. He's a 3-down player. There are times I think that when you get to that 3rd down, that he's going to be out, and they probably opt to go to some guys that might be a little bit lighter. Arden Key, Fred, or Dwan Smoot. I mean, some of those guys that can maybe
get upfield a little more,
do a little bit more, and be when you get a little bit creative as a defensive coordinator and you start mixing things up a little bit. You want guys that can do some different things to where you might be able to fool quarterbacks and offensive coordinators. But he's going to be a big part of this defense's success. And then right now, JP, that's probably the one position on this defense that really hasn't had anybody stand up yet.
Defensive line.
Yeah.
Defensive
and I'm
tackles.
talking when I mean
interior guys.
I'm talking about the big guys.
Yeah,
now,
not the outside linebacker types.
I'm talking about
hand on the ground guys.
Okay, when they're playing base defense and they got 3 big bodies out on the field, a nose tackle and then a defensive end and a defensive end. Now you would expect Roy Robertson Harris to kind of pick up where he left off and hopefully take another step and get better this year. But, I mean, Malcolm Brown kind of had a good year last year. Have you seen him flash yet?
No, in camp. No,
have you seen Roy Robertson Harris flash yet?
Not especially.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point is that.
But is that should you see that often, though?
Damn right.
Out of those positions?
Yeah.
What would be your definition of a flash or a standout at that position in a training camp practice?
All of a sudden, there goes number 1 to go through the line of scrimmage, and whammo!
And the quarterback sacked and
he
not
gets
hit.
Sacked
right.
by a big guy or a quarterback
or a tackle for loss or something.
Yeah, something. You haven't seen a lot of that. So I think that position and look, the reality is that you've drafted that position in the last couple of years. And Jay Tufele, Devon Hamilton.
Yeah.
You've tried to address it. You've given some draft equity to that position. Nobody's really risen up yet. And so can one of those guys step up? I hope so, because you really need that. But, right now, if I had to say, okay, next year, what's the one position the Jaguars are going to go and really concentrate on the draft, that may be number 1 at the top.
Again, really?
Well, when I say number 1, I'm not talking. When you say again, I don't.
They put all this, like you just said it. They've been
but that was a 3rd
free agent guy.
That was a 3rd and a 4th round pick. But you need to find somebody along the lines that's that dominant inside pass rusher. That's a big body. And look, I know that they don't grow on trees. They're hard to find. But if you had to pick one position that you really need, you need a legitimate top-end number 1 wide receiver, but everybody says that. But if you want to be really good on defense, you've got some guys on the outside that can play. 44, 41, 91, they can play on the outside. You got to find somebody on the inside.
Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, these are players in individual drills only or off to the side or likely not playing. They don't do official injury reports in the preseason and training camp, and they actually don't do official inactives. They're just players not dressed, but Jamal Agnew, Doug Pederson said likely won't go tomorrow. Devin Lloyd, the same thing. Could be back in teamwork next week, Pederson said. James Robinson still trying to work his way back. Laviska Shenault, also the same thing. Didn't play last week. Likely not tomorrow. Darius Williams is getting back into some team activity, but not quite ready for the games yet. And Christian Kirk added to that list. He's turned an ankle, and we'll see what happens with him tomorrow night.
Yeah, I was pretty concerned because that was Monday's practice that the ankle kind of like, you got up limping a little bit. By the way, if people are wondering what maybe the feedback is coming in from our microphones, they're, I guess, testing the sound system here.
Hey, I guess
at Everbank, and
hey,
it's
guess what,
rocking.
Logs? It works.
Our walls
it works.
are literally shaking in here.
Right, it's bass, and it's like through the hallway. Unbelievable.
Did they mount a new speaker right outside our studio here?
You might add a few more to this injury report with some hearing issues.
Yeah, no, my hearing's bad enough as it is. I'm like half deaf as it is.
Well, there's a game tomorrow night, and you're going to hear them before you see them, it sounds like. So there you have it. That's the injury report. And, hey, we've been pretty fortunate early in camp. Nothing too major. Knock on wood has happened, and let's keep it that way with this game tomorrow night.
Well, and Doug Pederson has run what I think has been a pretty demanding camp. When I say pretty demanding, as far as, the rules only allow you to do so much. But I think Doug has done a really good job as far as making what he can, practice-wise, make it demanding. Having a couple practices where you're going to do live periods, that's good. It's good. And some of those practices, like the Monday practice, which was the day after that live practice that they had, that was a 2.5 hour, full pads in the heat. That was grind.
It was.
That was grind. And that's good. I appreciate that because there's no shortcuts in football. There's not. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching up here, but there's not. You have to do the work. When you practice, you get better by practicing your craft. And that's by playing football, you get better at football. And the only way to get better is to get some simulation that's close to what the game speed is going to be, because that's how you refine your techniques. That's how you refine some of your physical prowess with your abilities. You understand what you can and can't do. And that happens in practice. And if you don't get those opportunities in practice, then all of a sudden you go into the regular season and you're still trying to figure some of those things out. Well, look, the reality is they're counting in the regular season, okay? The scores are going up, okay, and wins and losses get posted. It's not time for, trying to play catch-up. You want to be ahead of the opponent at where you're at.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll preview tomorrow night's game and who the Browns could start at quarterback on the other side in preseason week 1. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Experience the freedom of summer with big savings on a new Ford truck or SUV during the summer sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. Feel free to take your summer barbecue into the night in an F-150 truck. Soak in the sunshine in an Explorer SUV. Enjoy the freedom to go places you've never been with big savings on a Bronco Sport or Escape SUV. Come in and check out a new SUV or truck to keep you feeling the freedom of summer all year round. Your summer of freedom starts at the summer sales event, only at your local Ford dealer.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint,
persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist. Waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Thinking about your favorite whiskey or whiskey-based cocktail for this weekend's party or tailgate? Us too. While you're out shopping for supplies, don't forget to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars whiskey available at most local Jacksonville liquor stores. Not leaving the couch this weekend? No problem. You can also order a bottle online at citrusdistillersonline.com. Every bottle is made locally here in Duval.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think I'm a lot better. Feel like I'm a lot smarter, stronger, faster. Got more skill, working on my skill set, a lot during the offseason. And, I'm just more confident. So I think all those just helped me become a better player. And also the great coaches we brought in, I'm a sponge soaking in everything they tell me and competing with these other guys across from me. So I'm just getting better every day.
That is Tyson Campbell, second-year cornerback for the Jaguars. Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour on a Thursday afternoon. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Yet another guy I like talking to on this team. He got it when he came in as a rookie. You got to remember where he grew up, down in South Florida, playing high school football under Pat Surtain, and went to high school with his son, and, of course, went to Georgia and had some good years with the Bulldogs there. So the mindset of a cornerback was instilled pretty early for him, and he gets it now. He's pretty much all business, Logs, but it's good business, and it's a good thing to have him on this team.
Well, I think he's impressive because he's got a great work ethic, he's got a great mindset, and he's got a physical tool set. And when you combine all of that, that's pretty impressive. And his length is really what impresses me. When you have the length and then you have the athletic ability to go along with that. Look, for years, Gus Bradley, when he was here, and all of the disciples that came from that defense of Seattle, they all wanted the corners that had the size and the length, right? I mean, that was their mold.
Who doesn't?
They would try and bring guys in that were 6'2 plus just to find that length. And some of those guys aren't the most fleetest of foot, and so it's difficult to find the length and the speed combination. But Tyson Campbell is that combination, and he's fun to watch. And I don't know how good he can be. Is he going to be, or can he be a true shutdown corner? I don't know if he can become that, like a lockdown man. Your Darrelle Revis, Revis Island thing. I don't know if that's him, but I think he can be really good. I mean, and look, Revis Island, that's like Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah.
Darrelle Revis?
Uh-huh. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware.
So, look, if he doesn't get to that level, but he gets close to that, hey, you'll take it all day long.
Absolutely. He made a play in camp the other week, I guess, and knocked the ball away and I think his line was, "It's like Chick-fil-A on Sunday over here.
Yeah.
Closed down." I love that.
Yeah, I sometimes have to remind myself when I travel back and forth from Georgia a little bit. There's my favorite stop is the Chick-fil-A on the way, and then when it's a Sunday, I have to remember it's closed for business. But he has said that a few times, and he kind of joked around that and said that he has been using that line for quite some time. He said, but nobody ever paid attention yet.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's even a better line. That's a better line than the Chick-fil-A line.
That's a good one. Hey, let's take a look at the Miller Electric Center outside TIAA Bank Field. If you're watching on Jaguars.com, Jaguars social media. Oh, the footprint's coming along nicely. They are, it looks like they're putting roof on top of it now, which is nice. They've got some flooring going in.
They got these pre-engineered walls that go up. And so when they start to put them in, it's all of a sudden it's like, bam, it's built. You know, they got the red iron steel construction with these pre-manufactured walls that go up, and then they support them, and then they tie everything in. But yeah, this thing is rolling because like a week ago I came here, and then all of a sudden this week I go there and the roof part is going on.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, it's coming.
It's
quick.
cool.
And remember, in less than a year now, it will be
How many
in there.
square feet is this thing going to be?
100,000 square feet or something.
I mean, it's monstrous.
It's huge.
It is. How many? The Minnesota Vikings. Do you remember how many?
I don't. It was big too. It's a big
we got a chance to see that firsthand when the Jaguars practiced against the Vikings prior to the preseason game, and their facility, state of the art, brand new, and literally it's like a whole campus. They have a stadium. They've got this training facility. They have like a JOI, surgical center attached to this campus. I mean, it's big time up there in Minnesota.
It was nice. Very nice. This will be also nice, and it will be ready for training camp in 2023. Only 3 more practices at the Episcopal Sports Campus that the Jags are at currently. Then they'll move back over here, game field, flex field, alternate that as they get ready for the regular season. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. The Doug Pederson Show is coming up at the top of the hour. We're about 7 minutes away from that. We'll hear from Doug Pederson from throughout the week. He won't join us tonight, but we'll hear from the coach a good bit on the Jaguars radio network. The Browns and the Jaguars coming up tomorrow night at TIAA Bank Field. 7 o'clock kickoff time, 4 o'clock for the Publix Tailgate Show on 1010XL and 92.5 FM, and the Jaguars social channels, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. 6 o'clock, it's countdown to kickoff on the Jaguars radio network. We'll hear from Charles Davis of the NFL on CBS, NFL Network, and Sirius XM Radio. Always great to visit with him.
He
does a great guys in the business.
He's a great guy.
And he's a fantastic analyst on top of that.
Yeah, I've known Charles for a long time, and he does a great job. He does his homework, and he passes on the information in a very eloquent way. I'm a big fan of his.
No doubt. So we'll hear from him throughout tomorrow evening leading into the game. Deshaun Watson expected to start for the Cleveland Browns, depending on if the league institutes the indefinite suspension before the game.
Maybe.
We'll see. I haven't seen a report whether he's on the plane or not because they would fly down today, but he's expected to start at least as of right now, 5 minutes to 5 o'clock.
What a circus. I mean, if you're a Cleveland Browns member, I mean, the distraction of Deshaun Watson is immense. And if you're a coach for the Cleveland Browns and you're trying to get a football team ready for a regular season, I mean, this is not exactly the way you draw it up. You go out and you sign a player. First of all, that's a topic and a debate right there where ownership essentially agrees to give a sex offender $230 million guaranteed. And now he hasn't been convicted, but, I mean, heck, when you settle case after case after case after case after case and keep going 23, 24, 25, 26 times or whatever. I mean, how do you give a guy like that $230 million guaranteed, and how do you give him a contract that essentially only exposes $1 million of those $230 million in year one, knowing that he's going to have some type of a suspension? I just think it's embarrassing. I mean, to me, that's embarrassing. And if I was a Cleveland Browns fan, I would have a hard time with that. And the commissioner obviously has a hard time with that. He came out and had some very strong words.
Yes, he did at the owners' meetings this week.
Very strong words. And so now he's appointed another former judge to hear this. It's another hearing or appeal or whatever you want to call it. And I got some friends of mine that were very curious about this whole process. And people need to understand, because they were like, okay, well, didn't they agree to having a third party have a ruling on this? Well, that's in the collective bargaining agreement. Okay, and a collective bargaining agreement says is that a third party has the hearing and then issues a determination for the punishment. But the commissioner and or someone he appoints retains the right for an appeal or to change the final punishment decision. And I don't have a problem with that, because that's what's collectively bargained. And so the judge, Miss Sue Robinson, issues this 6-game suspension. NFLPA wants that to be the final decision. Commissioner Goodell says, no, we want to have an appeal. We don't think it's enough. He wants a year. And so you now have another former judge that's going to issue an opinion on that. And I would be surprised if his decision is not a full year. You're getting paid by the league, correct? So why would he not issue an agreement that would be more in line with what the league wants? I mean, don't you want to stay on retainer of the NFL for future things of that issue?
All I know is that,
but it's the biggest story in the league.
It's huge. It's huge.
Well, how many cases? Like 24 cases.
There's only 26 hours. I'm bad at math. 26 hours until the game.
You are bad at math.
So there's a clock with hands. I had to read it twice. So that's how much time they have to maybe do that appeal or change it or whatever. And who knows what happens in that time?
Yeah, I don't know, but I would expect that the reception of Deshaun Watson, I'm sure he's going to hear and see some very creative things, whether it's here or anywhere else that he decides to play at or is allowed to play at this year. But, yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine being on the Cleveland Browns and you don't know what's going on with your quarterback. You don't know who's going to play for you for when you start the opener. You definitely know that it's not going to be Deshaun Watson. And so if he gets suspended for a year, are they going to be in the market for a Jimmy Garoppolo or what? But, I mean, there's a term that I could probably say what it is, there's a word and then a show. Yeah. That's going on in Cleveland. I'm not going to say exactly what the first word is, but people can figure it out because Cleveland's a mess. And it's because they went out and signed Deshaun Watson.
The other quarterbacks on the roster are Jacoby Brissett, Josh Dobbs, who we know well.
And Josh Dobbs is not a very good quarterback.
And Josh Rosen.
By the way, we gave up like a 6th-round pick to get him or something. I mean, what are we doing?
Defensively, Myles Garrett, Taven Bryan, Jadeveon Clowney.
Clowney's good, but I'm going to tell you the stud of that defense is Myles Garrett. You want to talk about, stud.
Left out Taven Bryan.
Like I said, Myles Garrett, stud. Taven Bryant, they can have him.
Well, we'll see him.
They can have him.
I think they're planning on playing the starters.
He might get an offsides. Ball goes this way, he's running that way.
It's not ideal. So that's what's coming up tomorrow night. The Cleveland Browns come out.
Taven's strong as an ox.
Oh, sure.
Man, he couldn't find the ball, and I was hoping he would. I kept hoping every year, thinking that he would get or gain some instincts, some ball awareness instincts. And I kept saying that, sometimes that comes with experience, but not in his case.
So tomorrow night, it's the bank opening for the first time in the 2022 preseason. The Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars, 7 o'clock. Looking forward to it under the lights, Logs. Can't wait for this.
Yeah, look.
Starters are out there, the whole thing.
There's a lot of things to watch. But the guy that really is the one you want to watch and you're hoping to see the most out of is Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that's what you're talking about, a franchise quarterback. Can Doug Pederson take him on this journey that's going to allow him to develop into a franchise quarterback? And we're going to get a glimpse tomorrow night to see if they're on the right path.
Yes, we will. Our first opportunity, that's tomorrow night. Coming up, the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. For our entire crew, I'm J.P. Shadrick. This has been Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show, brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
Welcome into the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. No Doug Pederson this week. Training camp is raging. It's the night before the game. We've got plenty of Doug Pederson on this show, though, from a couple of different availabilities this week as he prepares for preseason week 1. The Jaguars' second game, of course. The Jags lost to the Raiders in the Hall of Fame game last Thursday, and now it's back home for 2 weeks in a row to face the Browns this week. The Steelers next. They'll wrap up the preseason with the Atlanta Falcons after a couple of practices up there. Logs, good afternoon, and here we are about to open TIAA Bank Field. And the starters will play a little bit tomorrow.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about seeing a bunch of different guys, from Trevor Lawrence and then his band of new weapons that he's got. Travis Etienne, can he provide that lightning bolt in the backfield that will complement James Robinson's skill set once they all get back out on the field together? Defensively, will this improved linebacking core show its dominance? Will they take the next step, so to speak, in the back end of the secondary with a young group? Can they stop the run? They didn't do a very good job against the Raiders.
No.
And offensively, can they run the ball? They didn't run the ball very well against the Raiders. So there's a lot of things to see, and I'm glad that the starters are playing because I'm a believer in that you play to get better.
Doug Pederson making that announcement earlier this week.
Yeah, this week I'm gonna let the starters play. Get their feet wet a little bit in this football game. A couple series, nothing too crazy, nothing too long, but just want to get them the feel of the game and get them in there and get them working, in game situations.
How important is that for Trevor as far as his development in the offense to get those game reps?
Well, for him it's important, but also for the offense, right? I mean, it's a new scheme, got new faces, new people out there that he's working with, and new center. So just seeing all of it put together, and just want to have some crisp plays, some good execution, and try to score a few points and get them out.
Well, what do you think? After you hear Doug Pederson say that, have some execution, score a few points, get them out, that doesn't sound like a 3 and out and don't go back. I think if the game circumstances warrant it, you're out there for 3 drives even, right?
Yeah, but that clip was edited. He had a little fun with the media on that answer, okay, because he was asked the question, hey, Doug, have you made a determination on if the starters are going to play in that game? And he says, yep, I have.
Yeah, how long?
And then he's he's kind of joking with him. Yes, I have, and kind of acted like he wasn't going to share the answer, and then he gave the answer. But yeah, look, I'm excited that they're playing because I think you got to play your guys, especially when you have a lot of new staff, new mechanics of the staff. You got new players, you got a young quarterback, and you get better by playing. And so I'm glad that they're playing. Now, how much do they play? He said, series or 2. And so what that means is how does the first series go? If the first series is 6, 7, 8 plays and it results in a touchdown, okay, that might be enough. And if it's a 3 and out or a 4 and out or a 5 and out, they're probably going to go back for another series. And defensively, probably something similar.
All right.
If they get a couple good series of good stops, then they'll be done. But if they give up a 10-play drive that results in a touchdown, could they end up going back for another drive? They might. But in a perfect world, you like to have the defense get a couple stops, no points, and 10 plays, 11 plays, 12 plays, somewhere in there, and then get them out.
And another part of that we heard from Doug Pederson is, some execution, have some clarity in the offense, and get in and out of the huddle properly, and move the ball down the field. And a lot of that is the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and the communication to him in the huddle. It's his first time out in this preseason in a live game.
I thought that last year Trevor handled the offense without the flaws for a rookie exceptionally well. The delay of games, the false start penalties, we didn't see a lot of that. Not as much as you would normally see out of a rookie. Now, early in the season, especially down in Houston, the defensive side of the ball was total chaos and confusion. Like, what are you doing? Can't get guys in and out on the field and trying to do substitutions.
I almost forgot about that.
Oh,
so
it was
you
terrible.
Just brought it up. That's right.
It was the most it was by far the most disorganized regular season game that I've ever seen out of the Jaguars, by far. And they got better, but up in the booth they're sitting there going, what are we doing? Special teams was confused, and defense was confused, and the only thing that seemed to have any semblance of being organized was offense. But anyway, I'm looking forward to a Doug Pederson coach team this year, because I believe that Doug has had a big impact on this football team. From the organization of things, the way that this team's prepared, the awareness, I like all of that.
Well, he made it a point, obviously, when he first came in here. You got to regain the trust of the team, the players, the organization after everything that had happened. Basically, that doesn't have to be like that. This is the NFL, and this is the way that I've won in the NFL, and I've got a skin on the wall to prove it, and this is how we're organizing this thing. And it started when he walked in the door. This is the schedule, the whole offseason. This is the schedule going into training camp. It was all done. So they didn't have to worry about timing and things. Focus on your job, and that's playing football.
He's got a plan.
Yes.
Good coaches have a plan. They have a way to attack things, and that's exactly what you want. And I appreciate a coach that can be demanding without the pound the desk, yell at you in your face. For me, that never worked. I wanted a guy that was demanding, but look, just tell me what the expectations are, demanding type of guy, because I'll do my best to meet the expectations or what you're wanting from me or from us as a group, and I'll help guide that group, and that's what I appreciate about Doug.
When we return, Doug Pederson's philosophy of live periods in practice. It's been a topic in Jacksonville this week after this past Sunday. We're off and running. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Experience the freedom of summer with big savings on a new Ford Trucker SUV during the summer sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. Feel free to take your summer barbecue into the night in an F-150 truck. Soak in the sunshine in an Explorer SUV. Enjoy the freedom to go places you've never been with big savings on a Bronco Sport or Escape SUV. Come in and check out a new SUV or truck to keep you feeling the freedom of summer all year round. Your summer of freedom starts at the summer sales event, only at your local Ford dealer.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
So his first play, and he was on the sideline tiptoeing. I know we made eye contact, so it wasn't cheap, but it's good work though. Getting that live work, I was glad that coach said we don't go. And me and Travis good, no beef. I really didn't think I hit him that hard. It was the reaction from like Ray Sean and everything. Like, yeah, I was like, I hit him like that. It was like, yeah, you hit him like that. So, and I saw it on film. It was decent. I didn't feel too bad though.
That's Andre Cisco, Jaguars safety, earlier this week after a Sunday live period or two practice. Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We'll hear plenty from head coach Doug Pederson coming up. Yeah, so the Jags played Thursday, off Friday, Saturday, back at it Sunday in full pads, and apparently a few live tackling periods, at least two of them. And it started with the guy you just heard, Andre Cisco, hitting Travis Etienne Jr., a hard hit on the first play of that team period. And it was we heard that, I think, all the way in the Charlotte airport as we were delayed 3 times, how hard a hit that was. And you saw it on film.
Delayed 3 times, huh?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Fun stuff.
At least we got home. So what about on tape? What did it look like to you?
It looked like Cisco actually backed off a little bit. And he could have made it real bad. And Travis Etienne needs to have a little awareness. Say, look, it's live, and protect yourself a little bit, step out of bounds, and you don't take that hit. And that's something that he's got to learn at the National Football. To know when to take a hit and when not to take a hit. And when you're on the boundary, that is not the time to take a hit, especially in practice. Get out of bounds. And Etienne took another hit from Trey Herndon, and that wasn't very good either. But he said, he wanted to take the hits. And look, I thought the whole idea of playing running back was to try not to get hit.
To avoid people and outrun them.
And it's been a while since I played the position, going all the way back to my time with the Braves and the Lions back in Little League and Lower Loudon Little League football. But yeah, that doesn't change, JP. You're trying not to get hit. But he got whacked.
Yeah, he's not exactly Brandon Jacobs last I checked either, 280 pounds, or Derrick Henry or any of those guys, right? I mean,
well, he's
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne's not small.
Yeah, but he's not like, Mike Allstott.
215.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and he's compact. I mean, he's in fact, it was interesting in that Trevor was asked the question about, were you concerned with Travis taking a hit? And he said that, look, I've been around Travis for many years at Clemson.
Yeah.
He goes, I never saw Travis get hurt. He said, so I'm used to him bouncing back up and getting back in the huddle and getting ready to play again. He goes, what I saw last year with his foot injury, he goes, I never saw him hurt. That was the first time. So, I mean, it's good to see, and it's good to see that he's, excited about taking a hit and he's not bashful. It's good stuff. He's going to be a good football player.
Yes, I believe so too. Let's hear from Doug Pederson on that philosophy of those live periods. There aren't many in training camp, but they're important to him.
It's just the way the schedule and the way I set training camp up. I mean, we follow the plan, we follow the schedule. It's just the way it is. We'll next week will be the same thing. We have a couple hard, long practices next week as well. Because we don't have pads on that much, and I want to make sure that we maximize those days and we're getting the most out of it. And again, the guys are doing an excellent job. Those 2 practices were great. We got good work in. Not perfect, we make the corrections, but it was good.
There you have it. That makes sense, right? You only get a limited number of padded practices, and 3 games with the starters in there. He didn't play the starters much, at least. Well, on offense. The defensive guys, some of those guys are out there. But you only have limited time.
You say 3 games with the starters. That may not even be.
It might be 2.
It might be 2.
Yeah.
You're
right.
A lot of coaches are choosing to play the starters only in 1. And I think Belichick doesn't play them, I don't think, at all anymore. It's interesting how there's so many different, I guess you could say, formulas that coaches have for preparing for the opener now. And going back to when, the older days when you had 4 preseason games, there was always kind of a typical way to get ready for the season. The first preseason game you played a series, maybe 2. Second preseason game you would play maybe close to the half. The third was always kind of the big dress rehearsal. So you would play the first half and then go in at halftime and come back out and play a series in the second half just to get used to the halftime. And then the 4th preseason game, you might play a series or 2 and then you were out. That was kind of the mindset for many years. And then with salary cap and money and smart people, okay, that stuff changed dramatically, and preseason's been cut down, and it's, I think, more the way that it should have been a long time ago. The collectively bargained allowable practices, the amount of time that the players are allowed to be in the building during training camp, is all of that stuff is very well documented in the rule book, and you have to abide by that, or you get fined or lose draft picks, and nobody wants to lose money. So Doug is smart, and when he talks about maximizing the days and pads, I think that's critically important, because if you don't, you've lost an opportunity to get better with a young football team and a football team that has a lot of new components.
The only way to get better truly at football is to play football, right? Not push people around in underwear.
Well, there's a point of diminishing returns. Did you ever take an economics class at Alabama?
I can't remember.
Did they even offer an economics class?
I might have gone, but I don't remember that either.
It's called the point of diminishing returns. It's like, for example, when you go to an ice cream shop, and you get 1 scoop. Man, that scoop is awesome. The curve is going, it's shooting high. It's steep, right?
We're going to the top.
Okay, The second one is like, starting to get,
it's still good, though. It's still
good,
You're
right?
getting returns still.
Not as good as the first one.
It's starting to get heavy, but okay.
Okay, the third one.
Ooh, might pay for this.
Okay, so now your curve is starting to, instead of be vertical, it's starting to flatten out a little bit. That's the point of diminishing returns. And so padded practices are very similar in that you gain great benefit with the early ones, and you still gain benefit from more. But then when you start to be Coughlin-esque.
Oh, really? Fresh on your mind.
2 days. Well, I joked around with him in Canton about it, as a matter of fact.
Wait a minute. I think I heard this conversation.
The body starts to get worn down. The psyche starts to get worn down. Players become hardened, which can be a good thing, but you don't get as much benefit. So Doug is taking advantage of it. But yeah, by the way, I did joke around with Coughlin a little bit at Tony's induction stuff there, and I told him, I said, you know what I remember about last time we were here at Canton, Tom? He said, what's that? I said, I felt like my cleats were about 5 pounds apiece. He said, what do you mean? I said, don't you remember we had a full padded practice in Stevens Point before we got on the plane to come to Canton? I said, I will never forget when I watched the game film. I said, that's the worst game film I ever had, Tom. I said, I couldn't move. You'd worn us out.
What did he say?
What are you talking about?
Of course.
He's great. It was great to see him, by the way.
Yes.
And I look forward to the day that he goes into Hall of Fame.
Let's come back in a moment. There are social media questions to be answered, Logs, and plenty of submissions today.
All right.
We will get to that when we return. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show is presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. The Browns-Jaguars game tomorrow night is brought to you by Coke Florida. And this portion of the Doug Pederson Show is powered by Microsoft, and usually where we'll get some social media questions for head coach Doug Pederson. Jeff Lageman, are you ready to answer some social questions?
I'm ready.
We put the bat signal out earlier today.
The bat signal?
Here's the best we came up with.
Or is it the cat signal?
I see where you're going with that.
Thank you.
That makes a lot more sense, in fact. Question number 1 off social media today from @KeithShoe. Will the Jaguars have a 1,000-yard receiver and a 1,000-yard running back this season?
I think they'll have a 1,000-yard receiver, and I think that'll be Christian Kirk. I think he's going to get a ton of completions his way. I don't think they're going to have a 1,000-yard running back, and it's not because the performance is not going to be there, but I think the amount of time that's going to get shared between James Robinson and a Travis Etienne, I think they'll be both close to that, that 750 to 800 yards apiece, with Travis Etienne having a lot of yardage in the receiving category. But if I had to say, I don't think that they will get a 1,000-yard rusher just because of the way the carries are divided up.
I know they just added one game to the schedule starting this past season, but is it still that big of a deal to have a 1,000-yard threshold?
I mean, it's not anymore. I mean, it's and especially the way the game has changed, because heck, if you look at the receiver with the Minnesota Vikings, young player from LSU, great player. He's talking about hitting 2,000 yards,
right. Yeah,
which is reachable.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson, thank you.
Yep.
He's talking about hitting 2,000 yards this year. He has openly talked about that.
Yeah, well.
So if that's the case, which the 2,000 yards receiving has never been done, it's just been
close.
That close. I mean, real close. But could a Cooper Kupp, hit 2,000? He might, but if the elbow of Matt Stafford doesn't get any better in a hurry,
right.
He's not hitting it either.
That's true. Question number 2 off social media today on Twitter.
What do you got?
This is @JohnC300. Do you think J-Rob will be ready to go for Week 1 in Washington? If not, how do you feel about Snoop Connor's ability to fill the role J-Rob has in the Jags offense? Now, of course, Well, there's James Robinson. There's Travis Etienne Jr. There's Snoop Connor, the draft pick. Raquel Armstead is around. Those are the big four names. And there's some other guys still on the roster. Mekhi Sargent, Matt Colburn is on the roster right now. Those are your running backs.
Well, yeah, but that's not the question. The question is, will J-Rob be ready for the Commanders?
Let's start with that one.
Okay. I think that's if he does, I mean, wow. What an amazing job of getting back from an Achilles injury that he missed the last 2 games of the season from. Could he be back? He could be. I kind of predicted that October, end of October, first part of November, but man, he has gotten so much better in the short amount of time that he's been at practice. I don't think it's too far out of reach to be ready for opening weekend. So I don't know. I think I know it's not a great answer. If I had to predict, I would say no, just because I want to give him plenty of time. That's just me speaking here.
Right. Well,
I want him to have plenty of time to be back 100%.
If there's any question at all, then you hold him back, right?
Yes.
You
yes.
PUP him or whatever you do.
No,
right?
well, you don't have to PUP him. You can just inactivate him.
Right. Okay.
Because typically you go into the opening week not having a lot of injured guys where you have those tough decisions. So you could just say, hey, look, we're going to, just have him inactive for a week or two, but I don't know. I mean, look, the way they're starting to increase his snaps and his participation, it makes me think that they're looking for him to be ready week 1. I mean, because now you're starting to insert him into team drills, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So
very little, but yes.
Yeah, he could be out there. And what do I think of Snoop Connor? If all of a sudden J-Rob is not ready, I can tell you that I got to see more. The numbers weren't great from the preseason Hall of Fame game last week in Canton for Snoop Connor. He's a one-cut downhill guy. I want to see if he can get a crease and then get that big body moving downhill. And I know you mentioned Rock Armstead. Rock Armstead's got to make some people miss before he gets going, and he's not doing that yet.
Question number 3 off social media, Twitter. At CF Zellers4, what is your Jaguars division record, wins and losses, when it's all said and done? And how do you see those matchups playing out? Well, Logs, we know that the Jags always get the Colts number here in Jacksonville. So that's one. What else?
So we got in a perfect world, it'd be what?
6-0.
6-0, right? Because you got 3 opponents, 2 games with each opponent. 6-0 being the best, 0-6 being the worst. I'm just giving you the range.
You took economics classes in Virginia.
Just giving you the numbers. Well, a lot of people don't realize what the numbers are.
I'm just telling you.
I mean, 500. Look, I'm looking for this team to take a step.
Who are they beating?
I think they beat everybody.
Well, okay, once. They're going to beat each team once.
Yeah, I mean that's okay.
3-3.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm just saying.
Obviously, Tennessee being the toughest to beat because they're the best team.
It's been a while since they've won up there, so you're counting on them to win the game here.
Texans have kind of are in the same boat as the Jaguars. They're trying to rebuild a franchise. Well, look, they don't look. We thought they had problems last year.
I know. We showed them, didn't we?
Oh yeah. We really took that dumpster fire of a football team to task, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Ooh.
So then they've got a young quarterback who played very well last year, and nobody wants to give any respect to the Texans. And you just watch out. I mean, they'll sneak up on you. The Indianapolis Colts got a Matt Ryan, which I never thought he was a big time franchise guy, and this is just a temporary guy till they can find a long term solution at that position. But that's a team that's got some talent. How will Shaquille Leonard, is that what he goes by?
He changed his name, right? Darius Leonard changed it to something else.
It's Shaquille. I think it's Shaquille Leonard. So he had back surgery. He's out. That's a huge cog to their defense. I mean, he's an all-pro guy. But the Colts are going to be pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I think 500.
Let's get one more in before the break. Social media question. Powered by Microsoft from @TommyBoy in Florida or in FLA. Kicking game, where do we stand?
I think let me. There's a lot of areas. You got the 4 core special teams: kickoff coverage, or kickoff return, punt return, and then the field goal game, etc. Your punter's outstanding. Logan Cook was the MVP of the Hall of Fame game for the Jaguars. Awesome. His punts were like mid-season form, all pro level. Ross Matisic, the long snapper, solid, good snapper. Jamal Agnew, we know what he can do.
He didn't play, but yes.
He didn't play, but we feel good about him, right?
He's proven it, yes.
Had the hip injury last year, missed 6 games. Is he going to be back from that? It looks like he's on his way.
Yes, it does.
The kicking game is a huge question. Huge question. What will the kicker situation be? You got 2 guys battling it out, but the reality is there's more than 2 battling it out.
What do you mean by that?
Jaguars will be looking around the league and scouring the waiver wire for every kicker that's available. So even though these 2 guys may feel like they're competing against one another in camp, they're competing against any other kicker that becomes available. That's a fact. That's the reality. So that's going to be something to watch closely because the kicker for this team may not be on the roster yet.
And I'm sure there's a team or 2 or 3 somewhere in the league, pick a number, that has multiple kickers that can kick in the NFL. And they'd have to cut one at the end.
Yes.
So that might be a waiver wire at the
could
end.
Could be, or could be a trade. If a team has 2 kickers and they know it, and this team is 50% on field goal percentage in the preseason with both their guys, then look, you may have to give up a resource, which is a draft pick or a player or whatever.
Or one of these guys could step up and start making all their kicks.
I'm all for it.
And be great on directional kickoffs all the above.
I'm all for it.
And that'd be great too.
But the one thing that I'm feeling really good about,
I can't wait,
is the coverage teams.
Really?
And the reason I say that is that typically your faster, smaller guys are the core of your special teams. Your fast linebackers, your safeties, your backup corners. And there's some guys that I'm extremely excited about. Rudy Ford is a Pro Bowl caliber special teams player, and he was awesome in the Hall of Fame game. Daniel Thomas is a guy that I think is awesome on special teams. Highly productive. He's got speed. We know about Wingard. Wingard is last year was a starter. He's not going to be a starter this year. Now he's going to go back and contribute on special teams, and he is a really good special teams player. And you've got some speed with some of the corners, some of these backup corners. So I'm excited about the coverage units of the special teams. Now, there's some linebackers that got to step up. And when I say linebackers, that's a big question mark because I don't know about the depth there.
Thank you for the submissions on social media with your questions. We're back with plenty more ahead. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Experience the freedom of summer with big savings on a new Ford Trucker SUV during the summer sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. Feel free to take your summer barbecue into the night in an F-150 truck. Soak in the sunshine in an Explorer SUV. Enjoy the freedom to go places you've never been with big savings on a Bronco Sport or Escape SUV. Come in and check out a new SUV or truck to keep you feeling the freedom of summer all year round. Your summer of freedom starts at the summer sales event, only at your local Ford dealer.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
I've seen someone that's kind of growing into a leadership role, someone who's really developing his craft, honing his skill. He's playing with confidence. And those are all things that we need to continue to nurture in him. He's a young player. He's had a really good camp. It was really good to see in the Raider game. He got nicked up there early in the game and then wanted to go back. And so confidently, put him back in a football game where he can kind of work through that. And those are the things you're starting to see with him and how he's developing himself and turning into a leader on that defense.
That's head coach Doug Pederson on Jaguars' second-year cornerback Tyson Campbell, and welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Well, this is at least a big-name secondary, right? I mean, you've got Shaq Griffin, big free agent contract entering last season. Darius Williams, free agent coming in this year after a Super Bowl win.
Let me just make a comment on each one you're talking about real quick, okay? Because we started with Shaq, okay? Needs to improve, needs to catch the ball.
Sure.
Okay? Needs to be able to make plays on the ball. If you want to be who we wanted to see, that next step is needed.
They are who we thought they were.
I was going to use that kind of term. And then Darius Williams, we haven't seen yet.
No.
So don't really know much about him. And then with the two young players, Tyson and Cisco, you're excited about them because you're seeing some things, when you start to see evidence with your own eyes, the old eye test, okay, and they're passing the eye test, then that's where you want to be. Shaq still got, I like Shaq. I like his leadership. I like his energy. But he's got to take that next step.
We'll see what happens. And then, of course, the safeties that brought in Rayshon Jenkins entering last season and, had the ankle issue, broken ankle.
And Rayshon's a guy that's got to take a step too now because Rayshon, if you remember last year, he hurt the defense on a couple of occasions with the personal fouls. And
did he get kicked out of a game?
Yes, he did. And that's not what you're expecting out of your veteran leader at the safety position. So that part needs to calm down, and you need to continue to make sure that you're on a more even keel back there.
This team had, 7 interceptions last year?
It wasn't many.
9 total takeaways, I believe, for the
You were
team.
minus 20 in turnover differential as a team, which was, I believe, it was dead last in the National Football League.
Yeah, I wouldn't have that. Wouldn't even have to look.
It wasn't like the offense turned the ball over a crazy amount. What did Trevor have? Interceptions? 14?
Yeah, in the teens, I think.
12. 12
Oh, wasn't even in the
interceptions.
teens.
Yes, that's not that bad.
Right.
Okay. So it wasn't as if the offense just, was turning the ball over all over the place and the defense couldn't get enough to keep up. The defense wasn't very good at taking the ball away. Fact.
Got to catch the football.
And part of making that jump this year, you've got to have Cisco, a guy like that has ball skills on the field. He's got to make plays. And then when Shaq's given the opportunity, he's got his hands on the ball. He had about 4 of them last year.
He admitted it, too.
That he could have caught.
Was that week 1 he had a pick 6?
Got to make those. Got to make those.
Yeah. Let's come back. We'll get into the front 7 on defense when we return. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
What do you call a group of friends who wear the same jersey for good luck, no matter how old it is, and who support their team through thick and thin, week after week, as if the very season depended on it, while tossing the pigskin and drinking Miller Lite? You call it Miller time in Jacksonville. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2022 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
With the first pick in the 2022 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the best plumbing and septic company in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked number one?
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is excited to announce we're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help tackling any type of plumbing or septic issue, call our team of first-round draft picks for the win. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
You know, on paper, we've got the depth that we wanted, the depth that we need. You know, and that's another thing, because you're not game planning right now, so you're not game planning run schemes and run fits and formations and all that kind of stuff. You're just lining up and playing. But at the same time, you know, here in the next couple of weeks, that's something we'll have to figure out. You know, we got to get better at stopping the run. Obviously, they being the Raiders, rushed for almost 160 yards on us, and you know that kind of stuff can't happen. You know, but we've got to flip it, right? We've got to be the team that rushes for 160, and you know. But again, that comes with time and development. These guys are learning new techniques and playing together for the first time, and you know, it just takes a little bit of time.
Head coach Doug Pederson on the defensive front seven, and welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. And yes, the Raiders ran for 159 yards, and yes, there were some what the team hopes to be major contributors in that front seven that did not play in that game, but most of them are expected to play tomorrow night against the Browns.
A lot of people might want to overreact after one preseason game just because.
You think?
Well, I mean, look.
That's right.
The organization hasn't had a lot of success lately, and so their first reaction is, oh, here we go again. Same team, right? And Doug Pederson got it right when he said that it takes time. And when he means by it takes time, doesn't mean that, well, you know, it's going to take a couple years. That's not what he means by that. And that it's going to take time to get the foundational principles of your defense established. And then once you get the game plan, okay, then you can start judging on whether something is working or not. And so when they start game planning, when they start keeping score, and that's at Washington in week 1, okay, then the test or the evaluations will be coming, and they're all due. I mean, that's what it's about. So I'm with him, and I understand that they've got some things to do to get better, and it's a new scheme, it's new coaches, you got a lot of new players, and offensively it will take a little bit more time than defensively. That's natural. Timing and execution is always something that comes a little bit later with an offense compared to a defense, where a defense, a lot of your components are plug and play. It's reactional. It's athletic players. It's not so much, well, you know, the Mike and the defensive tackle need to have the right timing on the stunt. Well, they do somewhat, but you can plug and play different guys without having to have this working relationship like you need to have between a quarterback and a slot wide receiver, or a quarterback and his outside wide receiver, or an offensive line group that's playing together that needs to have that kind of sixth sense of where his teammate is. I mean, those things take time.
Logs, we'll come back in a moment and review Hall of Fame week. We have not touched on that in this program tonight.
Talk a little bit about that. That was a good week.
What a week it was. We'll review that when we come back. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Experience the freedom of summer with big savings on a new Ford truck or SUV during the summer sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. Feel free to take your summer barbecue into the night in an F-150 truck. Soak in the sunshine in an Explorer SUV. Enjoy the freedom to go places you've never been with big savings on a Bronco Sport or Escape SUV. Come in and check out a new SUV or truck to keep you feeling the freedom of summer all year round. Your summer of freedom starts at the summer sales event, only at your local Ford dealer.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. We've heard plenty from Doug Pederson and his media availabilities this week. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato. Glad you're along with us on the Jaguars Radio Network and on Jaguars social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Jeff Lageman subscribes to all of the above.
Yeah.
We were both in Canton, Ohio last week for the Hall of Fame game. First off, we had our pregame, postgame, and, of course, the game broadcast from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. But we were fortunate enough, Logs, to be able to stick around for the events of Tony Boselli's enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And people have asked the last couple of days since we've been back, what was it like? How was it? And I've told to a person, I think it's the most incredible sporting experience I've been involved in my life.
Yeah,
and I've been through a lot of cool places, great games, but to be in that environment, an intimate environment in the grand scheme of things, with your friend and colleague going into the Hall of Fame and the people who are around it, for me, nothing tops it.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And first of all, great job by Tony, and how thankful, how humble he was, and this whole process was amazing. And I think he handled himself like a total pro. And I think that was the most joy that I've ever gotten out of watching, a teammate do something. And I was very proud of him, very proud of him. Happy for his family. It was so fun just to spend time with a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while, or you don't see very often. Old employees of the Jaguars that you haven't seen in a long time, like Dave Aukter. Dan Edwards was there,
Absolutely.
Tom Coughlin, former coaches Kevin Gilbride, Chris Palmer, Dom Capers, and having a chance to visit with all of them. And they took time out of their busy schedule to come and to see Tony. Talking to John Robinson, I know you had the same experience.
Absolutely. I had about 15 minutes with he and his wife before the Friday night Gold Jacket dinner. And it was fantastic. I mean, just sitting there hearing his stories about Tony.
And he's getting up there now, but he's still with it.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
It was fantastic. What a legend.
Former teammates that were there, Rich Tilsky, Jeff Novak, which two guys from the early days. Mark Brunell obviously was the presenter.
I sat next to Smingy during the
Joel
enshrinement.
Schmingy. Yeah, it was good to see Joel. And
I was like, I finally get to meet Joel Smingy. I've heard about him for 10 years, and I've never met him.
Yeah, and of course seeing their wives. Joel's wife Donnell and Jeff Novak's wife Kim, Stacy Brunell. Seeing all of the Baselli clan. Tony's mom talked with her a bunch before the enshrinement and also at the party. The party was an absolute ball that the Jaguars put on, and I got to say, it was first class.
Absolutely.
Totally first class. And I'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. But the first night I was there, me and Tara traveled, obviously, because she wanted to be able to be a part of it, and I was excited. We kind of made a little bit of a trip out of it. First night we go to a really nice restaurant that happened to be in Canton, and we were given some great guidance by some friends of ours, and they said, you got to go to Bender's. So we go to Bender's.
Bender's has been there literally for 110 years. Same name, same building, same place.
It's a steak / seafood kind of place.
Yeah.
We go there, and we have great dinner. And after dinner, I said, I know that guy. It's John Randall. So I go over and introduce myself to John. We played same time. And funny because I said, hey, John, Jeff Lageman. He goes, I know who you are. He goes, you had that chop swim. I used to watch that move. But, I mean, it's amazing that, he remembers your game and your moves. And then we got talking about other things. And then Tony, and he shared something that I thought was pretty cool. He said, look, because I told him that Tony said that he was by far one of the hardest guys that he ever went against was him and Mike McCrary. And he said, he goes, I always wanted to go against Tony because I knew that Bruce didn't fare so well. And he goes,
wow.
So I mean, just like a defensive lineman, a competitive person, he wants to show that he can do better than Bruce
Smith,
right?
Yeah.
And Tony will tell you, John Randall gave him fits, but talking to him was cool. Warren Moon was there, talked briefly with him. And then the great Raiders wide receiver, Fred Blitnikoff.
Oh, yeah.
Visited with him for 10, 15 minutes outside the restaurant. And it was cool, man, just talking to guys like that. I know you had an experience with a lot of Hall of Famers.
Towards the end of the party Saturday night.
Which, by the way, I was long in bed already, and JP was he was a survivor.
Well, I mean, I just had to make sure everybody else got home safely.
Yeah, you were just
okay.
there for
I was just there for
purposes.
support. I'm just trying to help others out. That's what I do. I help people. So the other Hall of Famers go to these other parties, and then some end up at the Baselli party at the end. So Fanico shows up. Got to spend a little time with him.
All-time great Pittsburgh Steeler guard.
Marcus Allen walks in the place.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other of the older offensive lineman guys came in, all with the jackets on. And
Kurt Warner was there earlier in the night.
So it was really, really neat. That's why I say it's the best experience I've had, because it's so intimate and you're interacting with these folks, and they're excited for Tony, and obviously we are too. So what a weekend.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I got to say, the speeches that were given by all the inductees, I want to talk about that when we get a chance because I was impressed.
Let's come back. We'll touch on that and a final preview of tomorrow night's preseason matchup. This is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, our final thoughts on Hall of Fame weekend. You were mentioning the speeches.
Yeah, the speeches. First of all, I thought Leroy Butler was just fun and relaxed, the speech that he gave. Bryant Young was just, I mean, you talk about touching your heart about how he lost a child and how that impacted his life. Sam Mills and the family of Sam Mills, what a tremendous job. And Dick Vermeil got a little long-winded for me, but and Tony did an exceptional job of recognizing a lot of the people that contributed to his path to the Hall of Fame.
Art McNally, the first official to go in, he had a recorded speech at the end. He said, a heavy dose of common sense.
And his was so short and sweet.
So like an official
but it was,
likely would.
But it was perfect.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely perfect. And he's still alive.
Yes.
He just couldn't travel. I guess some ill health, et cetera. But awesome experience.
1 minute to go. So the Jaguars host the Cleveland Browns tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We're on the air on the network at 6 o'clock with Countdown to Kickoff. Charles Davis will be one of our guests tomorrow. How about the game? Starters are going to go. Logs, you fired up?
Yeah, and I'm not going to let the Deshaun Watson distraction take away from what we're ultimately wanting to see, and that's the starters play a lot of new components to start to gel and to see this team have some success. Now, when I say success, there's different categories of success. I'm not talking about just the scoreboard.
Thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reaver, David Cho pushing the buttons tonight. Back in the studio for Jeff Lageman, I'm J.P. Shadrick. We'll see you at the bank tomorrow night. The Jags and the Browns coming up. This has been the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.